Okay, this is Aaron again with Exalted Lamb 1, and man, do I have some information for you. I've been looking at a lot of different things, of course, to share more about this timeline and the things that Lord's been showing me, but I've been really praying. I've been on the different interpretations of several different things, and I've really been praying, and always want to make sure the Lord's showing me exactly what He wants me to do, and I don't move I don't move until I feel confident of what He's showing me. So, it's been on my heart greatly with the information I've been uncovering lately through His guidance. So this is a massive emergency to the people who will listen. So, and just to keep this in mind, again, this is still my grand guess. It's a guess. It's based on the things I know and my interpretation of media and the things that are going on, information I've received, and that I look into and search, and the things the Lord tells me. And it's a combination of different things. But so as I've shared before many times, I'm going to have several of my videos about this time frame in the description box. So if you haven't watched those, please watch those for your own edification and understanding about this time frame, because the elites are planning some big stuff. Okay, as you know, this stuff's been already going on. We have the CV, we have the viral epidemic going on, so-called fake everything. So much of it's fake, it's crazy. And then, of course, the riots and everything. And this is just ramping up. Phase 2 is ramping up, going to phase 3. The Lord told me about more than a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, that we're going to be at phase 2 is about to start. And that was right before the riots happened. And then He's telling me, phase 2 is completely ramping up all the way going into the beginning of July, and then phase 3 in July. So, again, I want to reiterate for you, those who don't know, these codes here, as you see these dates. So we have March 1st to March 13th. Basically, those are codes. It's 3-1 all the way to 3-13, which is a 13-day birthing process for the Antichrist. And as I've said many times, Stinky B.O. is the Antichrist, okay? And he's going to be reborn, and I've proven that many, many times. I have over 470, it's probably about 476 irrefutable, really, evidences, solid evidences that Stinky B.O. or Barack Hussein Obama is the Antichrist. So, and then his helper, as kind of like a bad cop to his good cop. For people that look at him as good cop, the bad cop is Trump Thinskin, as I call him, because he's the thinnest skinned person I've ever seen in politics, even though it's a complete act. And I kind of make fun of these people because they are easy to make fun of, and they're sick, and they're demented, and they're going to basically bring this whole world into destruction, and they're going to bring order out of chaos, is what they believe, of course. So, and then on the opposite end, we have 7-1 through 7-13. So these are codes for their day of their 5th month, first day, and their 5th month, 13th day. And then there's days in between. So these are some major birthdays they look at, because it's a 13-day birthing process, but every day is a birthday to them in these 13 days. But they love the 11 because it represents the twin, as in the 2 towers that fell, and then the 1 going to one world government, one world freedom tower. So they love these 2 to represent in code more than others. So ultimately, it is the date in our Gregorian calendar is 7-1, 7-11, and 7-13, and days in between, which I'm going to share again. So that's just a preface there. So these are all codes to lead you to the actual day of 5 and 7. So it depends on if it's, there's their Roman calendar, because we're off by 2 months. In the Roman calendar, July is actually the 5th month, and that's to the elites. They look at July as the 5th month. And to the masses, the Gregorian, July is the 7th month. So they're able to hide a lot of things. And then also because March was the 3rd month in the Gregorian, but to the elites, 5 or May was the 3rd month. So again, these are bookend codes to the middle here, which is the 5s, and that's their real day. They're really hidden month and days. Okay, so moving on here. I want to hit, again, predictive programming, because I'm going to talk more about that again. I'm going to talk about that more and hit it home each time. But predictive programming is a subtle form of psychological conditioning used in all types of media to acquaint the public with pre-planned societal changes. When these changes are put through, the public will already be familiarized with them and will accept them as natural progressions, thus lessening any possible public resistance, commotion, and investigation. So it's even deeper than that. It's a spiritual law that they're activating in, they're required, and I know more and more as the months have gone on and I've been covering these kind of things, I'm very confident the Lord's been showing me that it's a spiritual law. They have to reveal also their plans because they involve mass murder, and what's coming, especially what's coming just around the road, which I'm warning about right now on July 4/5th. So we're talking about mass murder here and going into these tsunami waves that are coming, the mega tsunamis that are coming, nuclear war, all this kind of stuff that's coming. We're talking about mass murder, all pre-planned and in media. And so it's predictive programming, as in it's moving people towards these things. It's called lesser magic. It's getting people to kind of, in a sense, condition them to believe this stuff and in their subconscious. But it's also, it's kind of like, the enemy would give you a contract and, hey, say, here, sign this when you're watching a movie or TV show or something, and you don't even realize you're signing it by watching it or consuming it without questioning it. And there's fine print, and that fine print says, hey, this is going to happen by you consuming it, not questioning it, not rebuffing against it, not saying, hey, this is messed up, you guys can't make movies about this stuff and everything about, then we're all, as a mass of people, we're accepting it. I'm not accepting it. I see and all this stuff, and I'm trying to show you all that. So there's a number of things going on here. Predictive programming is one of those things. Another one, again, the spiritual law of basically sowing and reaping, in a sense. It's a lot of things. So moving on here. So I'm going to get into this time frame again, but I'm specific on July 4/5th because of these attacks. I'm going to show this. So I've shared how when in iPad Goat 2, if you're not familiar with iPad Go 2, I'll try to leave a link in the description box to watch the video. It's an animated movie that is basically timelines smashed together, all kinds of different timelines. It's similar to like the enemy's version of Revelation. So it's his version of Revelation with all these different scenes. In fact, each chapter of Revelation is its own timeline. And I've come to understand that over time. You can't read it completely through, like, start to finish in the book of Revelation. Each chapter is a separate timeline, and that's how this is set up. Each scene is a separate timeline. Even each little cut to each scene is a timeline. And so it's been taking time to understand this and figure this out, and all the codes that have to do with it as well, and gematria and everything else. And I'm understanding it more and more, and I may have completely cracked this thing. Things are lining up for what's coming like phenomenal. I'm going to show you more and more. Now, again, check out my last few videos. I'll have in the description box that are huge. The one called iPad Goat 2, Trump's presidential, I forget what it's called now. Trump's presidential alert or something like that. No, I can't remember what it's called now for some reason. And then there's another one that I have more in depth, but those will be in the description box. Check that out because I really go through iPad Goat and show a lot of things the Lord's shown me lately and the understanding that comes to this fruition of this timeline. What's behind her are the months of this year, and then the apple roll that she drops, the roll is the days from that month of July. Okay, now I'm going to show you this again here. Now, this is broken up, this apple roll. When she drops it, it's the birth because, again, it's birthing Jupiter. This is a red Jupiter with the spot. It's also the sun, and every time it rolls, it's a day. Okay, and we're talking about it. So when it drops the first day, it hits the ground, and the sun comes up the first day. This is kind of like in noon. That'd be 7/2. I don't expect necessarily, things could happen every single day. In fact, on 7/1, we could have another, we had a situation where it looked like May 19th could have been the first day. And again, I was saying that was some kind of birth, or the beginning of the birth, and that was two dams that collapsed, pre-planned. They were twin dams. They love this twin theme. So we could see some big dam go off or something. That's what I'm predicting right now. Some kind of flood event or some kind of dams break or something like that. Maybe the Hoover Dam, who knows, to really kick it off. Or the Oroville Dam or something like that. I mean, those are all pre-planned to go at some point. And so the thing I'm really focusing on right now, and the thing I'm alerting you on the most right now is July 4th and 5th. And I believe there's going to be a massive attack on people in cities. And I'm going to show you a lot of evidence that I've seen in iPad Go and things, and also what I'm seeing in different areas as well in the media. So again, so 4th and 5th is a mass attack on people. There's a dead face right here, and I'm going to show that. And then 7/7 is Hawaii, and lava come out of Hawaii. There's a number of reasons why Hawaii is very important. Hawaii is spelled backwards on the apple as it rolls. It hits this upside down 7, which is the 7th day. It starts spelling out Hawaii upside down and backwards. Down here, it's an attack on Stinky B.O. I call him Stinky B.O. because he's Beelzebub. Beelzebub means Lord of the Flies, and many reporters have seen and reported about flies landing on him more than anybody else in the past. And a lot of even non-believers, all kinds of people that were liberals saying, you know, that's crazy. He's got all these flies landing on him. So he's Beelzebub Butthead. I call him Lord of the Buttheads, or he's just so stinky that, and his initials are BO, so he's Stinky BO. And it's kind of silly, but because I'm this guy is very sick. And I've had dreams about him, even more recently, of him consuming children and all kinds of stuff. And many people have had dreams about him, as I've shared on my videos. I've seen hundreds of videos about people who have dreams about him, going back 8 years. And about 30 of those people, I've said before, were people who weren't even believers, didn't even believe in God or anything. And they had dreams that he was the devil, he was the Antichrist, and they were shocked. They were absolutely shocked, and they had no idea. They were massive supporters of him. Even a lot of conservatives were like, had no idea. They even liked him. And then once they had these dreams about who he really was, and so I believe those are dreams from God, and he's revealing to all kinds of people. Nobody, there's not one person that I've ever seen in anywhere that's had so many dreams about them being that. Not even close. It's not even a close comparison. Like I've said, same with all the evidences I have that he's the Antichrist. I have over 400, about 476 now, and they're still going on. And as I do more videos, I'm adding more and more. And then so 7-8 is basically, again, this is also 5-7 because that's the month they believe it is. Because Stinky BO is 5-7. For example, his inauguration was the 57th inauguration. He's 5'7" in many, many ways. He had this commencement speech first time in May 16th, which is 1 + 6 is 7. That's 5'7". Many things. There's so many things. And then Trumple is Mr. 58, which is really July 8th, but July is the 5th month. Trumple falls. He will basically be attacked. I'm saying now again, if I'm right about this timeline, then it will happen. If not, I'm pretty confident this is all, pretty much most of this or all this is going to happen. I'm just trying to figure out the exact time frame here. And then the U.S. carriers will be attacked. And then I'm not getting into all this again. Watch my previous videos, but basically it's going from 9. I share why this is 9, why this is 10. The split happens at 11. That's when this 2 tsunamis on both coasts happen, mega tsunamis and earthquakes, because the tsunamis cause earthquakes, and on 7/13 nuclear attack. So watch those other videos to get more details on this, because I want to focus on this. So 4th and 5th of July I have to focus on this because this is very big. The Lord's put on my heart. There's going to be a lot of death. Okay, and whether that's this day or it's another day, I don't know for sure. Okay, I'm pretty confident it's very possible this is going to be it. But it looks like the evidence is showing that, and I'm going to show you in this video, but you be the judge here. Okay, so if you zoom this up, so I'm zooming this figure up here, and I've shown this before. Okay, so I'm zooming this up. This is a dead face. I can see that. There's kind of a closed eye here, a closed eye here. There's a nose where there should have been nose. There's a absence where a skull, where the nose should be in a skull, and there's a mouth kind of slide. Now, this could be slashed right here, but it's also something upside down. Okay, there's also a pyramid right here. I'm going to show you what this is now. Let me darken this so you can see this a little bit better. This is a dead face. It's like a mixture of a dead body laying there, and then it's morphed with a skull in some way. So hopefully you can see that. Again, there's the eyes here, right here. The eyes closed right here. The nose, which is missing, and it's a skull nose. It's the absence of a skull. Of a nose, the skull opening there, whatever you call that. And then like a face, kind of a mouth kind of to the side a little bit, but there's something slashing right across here, and I'm going to show you what I think that is. Okay, now put it upside down. We also have 4th and 5th is also, do you see this? There's a moon shape in here, and then this is also reddish right here, where there's also going to be a partial lunar eclipse, which lunar eclipses typically are red because of the shadow of they're in the shadow of the earth. So they typically turn red, as in, blood moons and things like that. So that's right here. And then there's this thing coming through here, right here. And then there's this pyramid shape right here. Okay, and I've talked about in my previous videos about that, which I'll have in the description box. A few of my bigger videos back, a couple back, which is still on this. I was thinking it might be in May because we're looking at the month 5. Okay, so what does that look like? You see that? That looks just like a meteorite coming in. Now, it may be a firework going up. If you just turn it to the right a little bit, maybe a firework. You ever see fireworks? They shoot up, they go doof, and they shoot up, then they explode, right? Now, this could be it, or it could also mean that there's going to be this death and stuff, and there's going to be some kind of meteor to kind of mark it out. They love these meteors because in the heavens, meteors are kind of a symbol, or like even comets are symbols of, and they've been used as a symbol in different ways of sperm, in a sense. Especially with the, like with the Revelation 12 sign, there was a comet, and God used this as a comet. I forget the comet name, P something 76 something, and it basically went through right by Revelation 12 sign alignment, everything right before it happened as a conception, using, you know, it being like the sperm in a sense for the conception of the child in the Revelation 12 sign. And then also it's an iPad goat. Let me go this way. But I'm going to talk about this first. So right here, there's a V shape right here. And I don't know if you can see it right there. I tried to mark it out and try to contrast this as much as I could with using some other filters and stuff. But that's basically what it is, the shape I outlined here. And that V, and V is a couple things. I'm going to get into that in a second. And then right here, this is images at the end of iPad Goat. And it shows a meteor hitting the top of, or the capstone of a pyramid. Okay, and I reverse the image so it matches these images better. So see that? Does that match that? Which matches that? I mean, it's pretty crazy. And I've already went through this in one of my previous videos, but I want to share for some people that don't know and kind of reiterate some of these things. There's also right here, there's a 5 right here. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm not going to show the outlined 5 that I have. You can watch my previous videos on that. But it's right here. There's a 5. The top of the 5, it goes down. It's a small bottom, but it's a 5. It's very clear. And I made it kind of sharp, or made it the best resolution I could, or contrast, I should say. Okay, so it's 5V. Now V is 22 in gematria. Okay, so it's just the 22nd letter of the alphabet. So that would make 2 plus 2 is 4. So 5-4 to the elites is, remember, July is the 5th month to the elites, so 5-4 would be July 4th. And then we had Super Bowl 54 early in the year, and that was a massive ritual. And so that was actually pointing to 5-4, I believe. And it showed death. They showed all kinds of stuff in this ritual. They showed fire in the halftime show with J-Lo and Shakira and everything. And actually, the whole show, even the two Kansas City and San Francisco that played against each other, Kansas City and San Francisco, as I've shared before, are 1-2-2 in simple gematria, which is 5-1. Okay, 1-2-2 is just only on a leap year. The 122nd day of the year is May 1st. So we have the 5-1 code beginning the birth on the 5th month, the first day. Okay, so there's so many things I've shared. I mean, if you really look at the composite of all the things I've shared, I'm nailing the time frame. Now it's just determining, is this the time frame? I'm nailing all these different things on these timelines. And I've pretty much understood. The Lord showed me with this apple roll that is a 13-day process, and there are different things that will happen, and that I'm getting more and more confirmations of that as I'm going to show more here. So 5, but also V is also in Roman numerals. It means 5 in Roman numerals. So 5. So you have 5-4 and 5-5, or look at it as 22 is V, and then also it could be, there's even like a highlighted area like right in here, and it could be an A upside down, so then you'd have V is 22 plus 1, because A is 1, that could be 23. So that would be, so that's 4 and 5. So again, we have July 4th and 5th. Oh, whoa. Okay, July 4th and 5th. I'm going to go all the way up there. So that's right there. And that's on the 4th day on the apple roll. Okay, let me go back here. Let me show you this here too. So, again, on the 4th day of this apple roll, remember I said the spot was right here. That would be about noon, and then the spot goes right underneath, and that's when the sun would transition between one day and the next day. And then we happen to have a full moon from the 4th to the 5th, depending on your time zone in the United States. Okay, so like even in the East Coast, it's 2 a.m. You have 100% full moon. It's for a couple hours, actually. I think it's from 1 to 3 or 12 to something, whatever. Depending on where you are in the United States, it's either the 4th July for you or the 5th. And when these things actually start happening, who knows? But it depends on where you're going to be and what time zone. So keep going here. Let me just keep going here. Okay. And then I've shared in previous videos as well, which you should watch as well. It's huge. This decode of, and I'm talking about the presidential commencement and decoding what Stinky B.O. is saying, And this whole thing is really uncanny. Here's Katy Perry. She's singing about firework. You baby, you're a firework. Okay, and that's in iPad Goat. Okay, this is the fireworks. In fact, you see these 3 balls right here. 1, 2, 3. And there you go. 3 balls right here. 1, 2, 3. And they're fireworks kind of simulating this. I mean, it's really crazy. We have the same color as well, similarly. We have ultraviolet, which is Stinky BO. He's all over here. Okay, this is all in here. And then we have, check this out. So she's saying you're a firework. That's an iPad Goat. This death character, which is Baron Hamadi. He's his real the character of him. It's Baron Hamadi or something like that. It's the voodoo god, Baron Hamadi or something like that. I can't think of how to say his name now for some reason. And anyway, right here he has a daisy. See that daisy? And guess what? The first song she sings in this, after she says, "Thank you, Mr. President," and then she says, "Cover me with daisies, daisies, daisies." I mean, are you kidding me? And there's daisies. And then she sings a song where you see this scene, fireworks. You know, you're a firework. And I break that down in that previous video. Now I can't remember what it's called now right now. Oh man, anyway, but it's in the description box. It'll be like the first few videos I'll have in the list of the description box. Watch those, but you'll be blown away that if you haven't these connections. It's really phenomenal. If you see this already, it's pretty phenomenal. Okay, and then just reiterate what I already shared there was Daisy is 5/8. That's the attack on Trumple and the carriers. That's 5/8. That's the 5th month, the 8th day. It's the first day, and remember I showed you that the numbers and the dates in the very beginning, the 3/1, 5/1, and 7/1, and all the way through. So that's the first day as well. And then we have 7/7. 7/7 is huge. I'm gonna talk more about that. 7/7 is really 7/11. 7 times 11 is 7/7. CQBO's number is 7/7. That's one of his numbers. And then we have 3/2, which is really 3/11. Okay, and then I've shared this many times how if you're going to hide an attack code of 3/11 or 5/11 or 7/11, those are big attack codes. Those have to do with the tsunamis. You're going to hide them by making 11 2. And the easiest way to understand that as well is if you have, so for example, let's say they like to combine numbers. Okay, they call it compressing numbers. So if you have a 2 and a 9, so let's say I have a 29. So automatically, you could just get rid of anything you add 9 to, it stays the same. You could just get rid of the 9, you still have a 2. Or you go 2 plus 9, and then you have 11. So 2 is 11 anyway. Okay, that's how they compress numbers. And they've shared this many times in different ways. I should have played Christine Lagarde saying that. And she really shows the importance of that. And she's an elite. In fact, I think she's really a man. But anyway, so, and then we have here 227. I mean, 27, sorry, is 117. And then look, 5/4. That's July 4th, or the 5th month is July to the least and 4. We're going to see 5/4 a lot, like in, again, Super Bowl 54. That was alluding to what's coming. And I'm going to show you all these things that are alluding to what's coming. 7/4, 5/4, and even the other attack days, because ultimately they want to show these different days and predictively program you, but also like again, the fine print that you're signing every time you watch something, and then it's bringing it along to finally the attack days and destroying the people. So that's their goal, because they have to bring in chaos, get everybody not to accept the status quo, or the things that are going on, the things that we're used to. Christianity. I mean, really, the best versions of Christianity have never been really displayed in the world. But their version of it, and they're saying it's evil and everything. I'm gonna get into all that here. And in iPad Goat, here's another thing. Here's Bush, the caricature of Bush looking at this death figure. Again, he's in the foreground and he's sharp. The background is blurry, except for this part is sharp. So that means he's looking right at it, and it's obvious here. But if you pause it, he's looking right at it. This is sharp. This is blurry around here. But this scene is very important. I've broken this down before, but let me break it down again. Okay, with this light, this understanding. So again, X is, they use it in iPad Goat for, the regular, the 24th letter of the alphabet, plus also in Roman numerals, X equals 10. So, but let's look down here. We have the tongue, which is a V. Man, I just showed you a V in that 4th of July thing on the floor. So they're using this multiple times. Now, listen, I'm not like a lot of people that decode iPad Goat 2. There's a lot of people out there that go, oh, this looks like this, and then they'll say, and they do a whole thing on it. If I say something looks like something, I usually have 2 or 3 or 4 more things to back up what I'm saying. And then oh, this nose looks like this, looks like an upside down Y. I mean, whatever. A lot of people can say that, and that may be so. But if I'm bringing you evidence, I'm going to show you corroborating evidence. I'm not going to show you a bunch of just possible things that may be or may not be. I'm showing you things that have been corroborated several times. And I'm showing you this already. So in the floor, you saw the 4th of July thing I showed you. Now it's going to show it again. So the tongue is a V, okay? And again, V is also not only 22 in the alphabet, so 2 plus 2 is 4. It's also Roman numeral is 5. So we have 4 and 5. And then we have the X's, or in Roman numerals, they are 10s, but you take away the zeros. That's what the Kabbalists do. They take away zeros. So the 10s become 1 and 1, or 11. Okay, also, X's are in gematria. X is the 24th letter of the alphabet. So 2 plus 4 is 6. So each X is 6 when you compress the numbers there. 6 and 6 is 12. Okay, so we have the 11 and 12, 4 and 5. Now, what is bringing them all together? Well, look at this thing right here. See this? This is an upside down J. Or it just happens to be, well, let's do this first. We also have X and X being 10. 10 and 10 is 20. So we have the year as well, I believe. And then right here we have, look, it's an upside down J, but it's also a 7 backwards. So again, J is 7. And what's the 7th J? I mean, it could be June, but June's not the 7th month. July is. So that makes the only J that's a 7 July. I mean, there's another J, and that's 1, but that's not a 1. That's a 7. Okay, so we have 7, 11, and 12, 7, 4, and 5 of 20 is hidden in here. I think I've completely broken this code. They're actually using these for these multiple different meanings to make this code. And I'm showing this. It's really crazy. Plus, I have other corroborating evidence. It's not just this code. It's other codes that corroborate this. It's other images. It's other things. It's many things that I've shown many times in my videos. If you watched them, you'll see. So I'm not just throwing things out there and going, oh, that's, looking at a cloud and going, hey, that's a horse. Oh, no. And someone's like, well, that looks like, to me, that looks like that looks like George Bush. I mean, seriously. I mean, you could do that with this. And I've seen a lot of people do that and use like a shotgun approach. And but I'm trying to really decipher this, and I'm coming to understand this completely. It's crazy. So that's a 7, and it just so happens that in this scene, this whole scene of him doing this, there's this E hanging out right here, and out of the evolution or whatever it's called, evil. Okay, so there's just an E. Well, why is that? Because it's a 5. Because they're showing that 7 is 5. So 7, July 4th and 5th is the 5th month to them is July 5, 4, and 5. Remember 54. 5, 11, and 12. Remember 5, 11. And then this is the year 20. Okay, that's what's going on here. I'm telling you. Now, whatever these numbers actually mean is another thing, but I'm showing these are the numbers, and this is what's going on here because I have it backed up many, many times. Here's another one that confirms that. So I have this scene. There's a scene, and Obama's looking like he's a. The reason why I believe he's looking like and he looks like he's sweating, but he's not really sweating. He's looking concerned, is because very soon he knows he's going to be killed and replaced with the devil. Okay, he's going to be incarnated by the Lucifer. So I don't know what goes on in this guy, but maybe he thinks it's all great and everything, or maybe he's still concerned about it in some ways, but he knows he's got to do it, and that's his destiny or something. I don't know. I'm not a fly on the wall when these people are talking and what's going on in his sick life, and I wouldn't want to be in a way. And in some ways I would, just so I know what's going on and I could warn people. But in other ways it'd be too sick. I'd probably just start throwing up all the time or be crying all the time. I don't know what these sick people do, because I know for a fact recently with some dreams I've been getting that he's consuming children. And I don't even want to get into all that, what that means. But there's a penis over here on the wall, and it's shooting up sperm, and then it just so happened to be coming down, and it's kind of a milky looking, it's not sweat, coming down here. So I have two scenes more together. This comes down here, and then it comes like that. Well, I put these together, cut out a piece from another scene over here, and so it starts with a V, and the light shining, it makes a V, and then it's just the last bit as it's going down, you see the light shining on it, and like a little reflection of light, but it's not. That's a J. So I believe what it's showing is this is the beginning of when things just start going bad. And in a sense, he's also worrying about it, as in your perspective, in a sense. He's worrying about it because, hey, this is when calamity is going to start. And he's getting worried about it. So 4th and 5th of July is what this is saying, I believe. And this is crazy, okay, because V is 4, which is V is 22nd letter, which is 2 plus 2. V is also Roman numeral is 5. So you have 4th and 5th. And then we just so happen to have a full moon on the 4th and 5th. Exactly. It's really crazy. Okay, so let's keep going. Now, this is a statue of Albert Pike. He was a 33rd degree Freemason. Basically led the Freemasons in the South for the most part. Sick man, okay? And I'm going to talk some about him and what's going on with the statue. And recently, an event that just happened to happen just before the eclipse, the annular eclipse, just right before it. It just so happened to happen. You know, it's just a coincidence. I'm going to show you why it's not a coincidence and why all these things are not a coincidence. People want to think that there's massive coincidences out there. There's not. They're all pre-planned. There's reasons for it. They can't be. Is statistically impossible for these things I'm sharing to be massive coincidences, and coincidence upon coincidence upon coincidence upon coincidence, all related together and everything. No, sorry, doesn't exist. It's irrational to believe that, and to see the things I'm showing you and to rationalize it away is foolish, and just it's foolish. So hopefully you see these things, because I'm trying to warn you with what's coming. And then once you see this and have seen this stuff, I'm just giving you more information, and you can make a decision based on that to get into a safe place 4th and 5th of July, because I think they're going to unleash hordes of people that are not right in the head, and that they programmed with MK Ultra and things, and the nihilists and and Antifa and all these different things. And I'm going to get into that in a second. So this is the statue that's in Washington, D.C. of, now you ask yourself, why is the statue of a Civil War general that was known to start the KKK and other things I'm going to talk about, who is a 33rd degree Mason, why is there a statue in D.C. of this jackwagon? I mean, seriously. I mean, and people can understand why they pulled it down. Some people can. I think it's all a cover, of course. Everything that these people do, and it's all a cover. It's all a story. It's all this hidden meaning to everything in the media. And that's just the way they do it, because, again, they have to predictably program you. They have to bring these things about without you knowing, and making it look organic when it's not at all. It's pre-planned and contrived, as I show. So right here, you said the double-headed eagle here. You got the pyramid right here, okay, but the double-headed eagle, or the double-headed phoenix, you can call it whatever. It's really a phoenix, but a double-headed, which is on Trump's coat of arms. Now, Trump has 2 family coat of arms. He designed one's for American coat of arms that he has, this is on one of his properties. And then this is a Scottish, and another thing, Scottish European coat of arms, because he's Scottish and German, Drumpf, and they changed it to Trump from Drumpf. And I know a lot about it. If you do a little bit of research, just a little bit of research on Trumple, thin skin, I mean, you'll see he's not who he says he is. I mean, the fact that people don't see that is just, I mean, you got to stop drinking the Trumpleberry Kool-Aid. Please stop. And another thing I have now, he's the blonde leading the blind. I mean, seriously, the evidence is there. If you do any kind of research, you'll find that your support in Trumple is just it's ridiculous. It's I'm trying to think of the word. It's misgiven, or it's not correct. You need to wake up. I mean, I'm trying to wake people up to this. Okay, so this is the same one that's on here. He is a Scot, and look at the Scottish European coat of arms. He is a Scot as well. Okay, and I've proven that many times. I've shown over 100 reasons why he's a Knights Templar, and that Knights Templar started the Freemasons. Okay, and he is a Trojan horse for Christians and conservatives. You think about this. He'll get us into World War III. That will result in millions of people killed. Not alone the 4th of July stuff that's about to happen probably. And he's already vilified for many reasons, and he acts like, I mean, he's not a good example of Christianity in any way. He's horrible. He's horrible, and the left knows this, and they hate him for it. And he just keeps being a caricature of a person. And so when he finally screws everything up, then they'll blame him, and then before they can really blame him, they're gonna off him. They're gonna get rid of him. So that knocks all the legs off under everybody who supported him, and people are gonna be walking around blind, like, "Whoa, okay, where did our Savior go?" Well, Jesus is your Savior. He's not your Savior. So let me keep going here. And again, right here on his coat of arms is this lion. That's the exact same lion as the Lion of Scotland. That's his coat of arms. That's a lion. And that just shows that it's a Scottish thing. It's a Scottish thing. And again, Scottish rite of Freemasonry is what Pike is. That's what this is. This is a thing that they wore on right at their waist to cover up right at their, penis right there. And there would be this thing right there. There's a number of reasons for all that. I'm going to get into all that. Okay, so and then we have these BLM, Black Lives Matter, desecrating all these different monuments and removing things, statues and everything. And I want to touch on this real quick. Okay, so BLM is that way for a reason. Okay, BLM is a code. It's a couple different codes. And the Lord showed me what this is. So BLM. And I did it lowercase for a reason on the second two. And I could show you even more. In fact, L, it looks like in one. And I've shared that. L, I, capital I, small l, and 1 are the same, and that's all planned. So right here, this is 1 plus m is 4, which is 13, but 1 plus 3 is 4. That's 5, 2, which is 511. And that's showing that. And I'm going to show you what else it's showing, but check this out. This is really crazy. The Lord showed me this, and I have no doubt this is what this is as well. So B, if you just pronounce the letter B, it's B, B-E, B-E, okay? In fact, you can use it when you're playing Scrabble. You can use BE as a word. Any of the way you basically pronounce any of the letters, you can use those as a word in Scrabble. It's pretty crazy. And once I learned that years ago, it was a nice little tool for me to build different things. Okay, and then L is EL. And then M, if you say M, it's EM. It's M. So BLM, or Black Lives Matter, is also Balaam. 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 What's Balaam? I wonder. Well, their mode of offering sacrifices described in 1 Kings. The sun god, under the general title of Baal, or Lord, was the chief object of worship in the Canaanites. Each locality had its special Baal, and various local Baals were summed up under the name of Balaam, or Lords. I'll get into all that. But Balaam is what it says. It's how you say it, Balaam. Balaam is Balaam. Also, it has to do, if you just switch the double on the other side of the L for the E for the A. And again, and also an iPad Go shows that on the chalkboard. Next to the chalkboard is the letters, and that's a new cipher. And it starts with, instead of A, the cipher starts with E. So A is E also. That's another crazy thing. Later in the Bible, Balaam becomes something of a... So Balaam was the guy who was, in a sense, a prophet of Baal, and was sent to... for various reasons, God used him for good, and also had him speak. God spoke through a donkey to Balaam, okay? But after that account in the Old Testament, later in the Bible, Balaam becomes something of a byword. So Peter speaks of the way of Balaam, who loved the wages of unrighteousness. And I'm coming to how they equate. So Balaam is what they're really saying in BLM. This is all spiritual. This is not just there's nothing new under the sun. This is all repackaged, repurposed Babylon mystery religion. Okay, and all this stuff. This goes back to Nimrod and everything else. Everything. Egyptian, stuff, Roman stuff, Greek stuff. It all goes back to Babylon mystery religion and all that stuff. And even Balaam, okay? So also Jude speaks of the error of Balaam, into which men listen to this. Jude speaks of the error of Balaam, into which men of nothing but beastly instinct rush headlong. If that doesn't sound to you like Antifa and Black Lives Matter and all that stuff, rushing like beasts headlong, I mean, seriously, it's really crazy. So anyway, there's a lot going on here. And then the meaning of Balaam is swallowing up the people, destroyer of the people. So there's, in a couple different versions of that name, in Baal, and in plural Baal, and Balaam, or Baal, however you want to say it, but it's Balaam, or the guy Balaam, and what his name really means, and how the Bible refers to him, which is all spiritual. It has to do with a crowd rushing like beasts, headlong, and destroy things. I mean, seriously. And then destroyer of people. I mean, and that's the reason I'm sharing this is what's coming. These groups are planning on destroying things and people, but more than that, people. It's going to be shock and awe, throw everything off, and they want to make sure there's no protection. They want to make sure the police are taken out of the, all these police in all these different states or these cities now. They're calling in sick, and they're going to call in sick 4th of July. I'm telling you, that's what the evidence is showing. A lot of cities are going to call in sick, and this is all planned by the liberal nutballs that run all this stuff. The sick, Marxists, yeah, man, Maoists, man, I'm so angry right now, and the innocent people that are going to be chewed up by these people. So that's why I'm warning people here. Okay, look at this graffiti stuff. This was in a planned event, and it signaled something. Okay, and I'm going to show you this. They knocked this statue down of Albert Pike. Now they graffitied on it. They graffitied on it. They lit it on fire. That's all symbolic. Lighting it on fire. I mean, destroying so many things. With fire and things. And what they wrote on here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to do it in a couple stages. This first stage, I'm going to show you. So on his head, from this angle, you can see it says BLM, of course. Again, Balaam. This is the angry mob. It's basically what that is. And they're putting BLM on purpose. Again, they're funded. These groups are not just funded by Soros, as a lot of people say. They're literally funded. The evidence shows they're funded by foundations, and a lot of big companies and their foundations fund BLM and other groups like Antifa and things. So this is massive. And ultimately, your dollars that basically pay for a lot of products and things, part of that's going to fund these people. I'm telling you, that's what the evidence shows. That's where the money trail ends. Okay, that's where the money trail ends. It's not just, you can just say, hey, just say George Soros and that's it. And he's on the left. George Soros is actually a puppet for the Luciferian global elites, just like Kissinger, just like Zbigniew Brzezinski, just like all these people. They're puppets of the New World Order, the elites, the Luciferian elites that are running everybody and have pretty much all politicians in their pockets. There's no left or right. If you still believe that paradigm, you are so far behind the curve, it's not even funny. Okay, how can we have so much technology in this world and people be so ignorant? It's beyond me. I mean, literally, you can get on the internet anytime, start researching any of the stuff I'm saying and find it completely 100% true. Now, there's a few things, like I show you, the intricacies of some of the Lord stuff the Lord shows me, and it's like, I didn't know it. He's showing me. I didn't figure this out. This is not for me. So some of the stuff I'm showing you is not for me. He's showing me all this stuff, a lot of this stuff over time. But if you research a lot of the details I'm showing you about history and things, it's there. Okay, so BLM, B is 2 in alphabet, second letter. L is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. Then M is 13. 1 plus 3 is 4. So that's 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, as I mentioned many times, is a very unique number. It's one of two types of numbers that if you use different numbers, forward and reverse, they equal something. So 2, 3, 4, and it's reversed, 4, 3, 2, it equals 6, 6, 6. Okay, the other thing I've shared about 3-digit numbers and 4-digit numbers even, but even more than 2-digit numbers have it as well, but 3-digit numbers, they love 3-digit numbers because there's several meanings of these 3-digit numbers, and it's basically telling you something. So 2, 3, 4 is 2 plus 3 equals 5. I will just do this first. It's one of the things. It's 2, 3 plus 4. We'll do this. 2 and then 3 plus 4 is 7. So 27. Again, I showed you earlier that 2 is really 1 and 1 when it's hidden. So it's 117. Another way of looking at this is 2 plus 3 is 5 and then you have 4. So that's 5, 4. Again, Super Bowl 54, really that's the real July 4th, the 5th month to the elites. Okay? And then, which is really 7, 4. So they're showing you in this graffiti here, the attack. They're showing you 666, and that's when the Antichrist is going to be born. They're showing you that through this guy's life, through several things, through this BLM, everything. They're showing you 7-4 attack on July 4th and attack on July 11th, and that's backwards, or the 11th of July, however you want to look at it. That's right here. It's 666, 74, and 117. It's right in this number. It's crazy. Okay, that's what they're showing, and here it is. So. He wrote Albert Pike way back in 1854, I think it is, and I have it on here. He wrote a letter to Manzini, I think his name is now, another 33rd degree Mason, and about their plans about World War I, World War II, World War III. Now, you can look that up if you want to anytime. Albert Pike's letter. And this is part of World War III. And in a little excerpt of inside their explanation of World War III, it says, "We will unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all of its horror will show clearly to the nations, the people of different nationalities, the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, and of the most bloody turmoil." If that doesn't describe what's going on right now and what I'm telling you is about to happen on 4th and 5th of July, I don't know what does. And look, there he is. He's got the little double-headed phoenix right there, or eagle, whatever you want to 33-degree Mason, all this stuff, double-headed eagle thing right here, or phoenix, whatever you want to call it. I mean, all this stuff. He was a sick puppy. Okay, so, and then also, what's a nihilist? A nihilist is a person who believes that life is meaningless and rejects all religious and moral principles. Sounds just like a Marxist or a Maoist or whatever, the people that are in Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and any other groups that we don't know that are involved in this, that are would have already damaged things, would have already destroyed things, would have already attacked people and raped people in CHOP, Capitol Hill something protest. I don't remember what O means. I'm sure someone's going to correct me on that, but it was Chaz, now it's CHOP, whatever. It doesn't matter. They're killing people. They're raping people. They're sodomizing people. I mean, everything. More's coming. This is just the beginning. And the police are backing off on purpose. Okay, I'm telling you, this is all a plan that's been going on for hundreds of years, and I'm proving it. Okay, so that's a nihilist. Okay, then let me just keep going from there. It says the bloody turmoil. It says, with no direction, anxious for an ideal, but without knowing where to render its adoration, because everything is going to be basically destroyed, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, brought finally out in the public view. Yeah, finally out in the public view. This manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement, which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. And that's what will happen. It's what will happen. They plan this. They're methodical about their planning. This was in 1871. I was thinking, yeah, it's 1871. Okay, and there's all kinds of evidence to support this. This is all, and it's happening right before your face, is it not? This guy, okay, that's him again, a little older. Okay, Pike, according to a guy Fleming, who wrote a lot about him, and there's many other people who's written a lot about him that knew about the details, but Pike was the KKK's chief judicial officer, Fleming wrote. Pike thus ruled officially over the Klan's internal disciplinary or counterintelligence department. In the KKK birth state of Tennessee, Pike was the president of the Bar Association and publisher of the main racist newspaper. Okay, so on one thing, yeah, this guy was a racist. I mean, his statue shouldn't have been up there in the first place. And I would have loved to have pulled it down, honestly. But not, like that and everything. But, I mean, seriously. But that's not really the real story. It's all timing and everything. Again, I said, they did this right before the annual eclipse. Why is that? I'm going to get into that in a second. But it was as sovereign grand commander of the Scottish Rite, the recognized boss of the Southern White Freemason Order, that Pike exercised a great clandestine power that wielded the KKK together. Fleming cites Pike's Masonic colleagues and the Klan co-founders as the main source for his KKK history. I mean, seriously. And then he founded this group. He founded the KKK. He founded this group. What's this group? Does anybody know? And what's this guy? Who's this guy? This is a Knights Templar, okay? And this is called the Knights of the Golden Circle, okay? Founded by Albert Pike. Old picture of this Knights, and then again, the Knights Templar, which goes back to Catholicism, and they were the Knights for Catholicism, Knights of Malta, Knights Templar, go way back, and they're submitted unto the Pope, as Trump's already shown. He submitted himself to the Pope back in May 25th of 2017, I think it is. It was 2017, yeah. He submitted himself to Pope, and he had this deadpan look like he was going to die. I mean, it was all about his death, and then anyway, so I'm not getting into all that. Okay, this is crazy. Here we go. So the Golden Circle, I'm going to tell you what, so he's Knights of the Golden Circle. Well, why is that? Remember, he took his statue down right before the annular eclipse, and do you see a golden circle here? How about this? The maker of this video called Heliofont. Do you see a golden circle? The Knights of the Golden Circle. Do you think this is a massive coincidence, maybe? Does any of you think this is a massive coincidence that they pulled this thing down right before the annular eclipse? I don't think so. In fact, I think what this is the annual eclipse, and what I'm showing, this is June going into July, and then this is the star Sirius, the dog star, because they love this. In fact, we just went into the dog days of summer. That's what it's called, the dog days of summer. Man, there's even people sing about it. Anyway, I'm gonna get into all that, and that's all. It's all sick. We're going into this. That's why this time is the time I believe is very. It's hugely possible that this time where all this stuff happens, because it's been put in so many things in our media and songs and everything. It's crazy. Anyway, so and this is a picture of this, and I got this one. It's not as good a resolution, but you can see the graffiti a little bit better. And again, over here is black BLM, and then it says pig, even though this looks more like a 6. And it doesn't matter either way. Even if this is a 1 and a 6, and that's a P, P is 16, okay? Which is crazy, okay? Just think about this. Now, this looks like a 6 and a 1, but P is 16, the 16th letter of the alphabet. So 1 plus 6 is 7, and then 1 plus 6 is 7, that's a 16. Or if P is still P, that's 16. And if this is an I is 9, and so you can just get rid of it, because anything you add 9 to stays the same. And then this is a G, and that's 7. So we have 7, 7. Or we have 16 and 16, which is 7, 7. It doesn't matter. It's 7. This is basically 7, 7. And I showed you how this is 117 as well. So which is 117 is 11 times 7. So again, we have 117 over here. Pig is, now I can't quite, I think this is BLM down here. That's why there's a B here. But I can't make this. If you guys have any idea what this is, let me know in the comments. This looks like an ACAR or a B. It's a big B down there. I can't go down there. So it looks like maybe a big B. That maybe. Or that's a P. ACAP. I can't. If you have any idea what that is, I'd like to know. I can't quite figure it out. But I know those are showing both of these. They're both 7, 7 or. And then of course 7, 7 is 11 times 7. Again, it's a hidden code. Just like they love 33, okay? Why do they love 33? Why is Albert Pike a 33-degree Mason? Well, there's so many spiritual significance to the number 33. You could write a book about it. But it's also the birth of the Antichrist, and because 33 is 311, 3 times 11, and that's why. And they also love 88, and that's like Marty McFly went in the DeLorean went 88 miles an hour to go through the portal, and that's when the time change is going to happen. 88 is 8 times 11, so that's 811. That's why they love the 11-8 code or the 811 code. And 511. And 511 is in Back to the Future as well, which is also 55, because he goes to 1955, or he also goes to November 5th, 1955. So it's both. It's November 5th is 11-5, and then he goes to 1955, which is 5-5, which is 11 times 5. Anyway, they're all the same. So just again, like I said, 311, 511, and 711 are the same, because they're all 33, 55, and 77 and 88. It's all the same. It's just different ways of looking at it. It's a different code. Okay, and then Albert Pike just happens to be reverse ordinal, which is Z equals 1, Y equals 2, backwards. 171, just mixed up 117 or 711. And he's also in English Gematria, which is simple Gematria times 6, because they love 6, right? 666, all that stuff. So that is 5-4. Again, you can just slash out the 9, and then you have 5-4. And so his name is showing the attack day of 7-11. It's also showing 5-4, which again is the 5th month to the least is July, and 4th, 5-4, or the Super Bowl 54. It's right there. Or you can just go 5, 9 plus 4 is 13, 1 plus 3 is 4. It doesn't matter. So you can just knock the 9 out or add it to 4 and it equals 13. 1 plus 3 is 4. And it's so crazy. Even Albert is 1-4. Okay, take away the 0. 1-4. 14 is 7-7. 7 plus 7. It's all over here, man. So let's keep going here. I decided to also look at simple gematria and see what kind of interesting words. They love doing this. And this is why this is powerful, because they do this on purpose. Because it's a hidden code, these numbers in letters, they love to have different symbols and different words that have to do with the same time frame or the same ideas, and they're equated by the same number or similar numbers. So they love that. That's all their hidden thing that they just get off on. It's really crazy. So White Rabbit's all over iPad Go. It's in so many scenes, and White Rabbit in simple gematria is 117. Okay, what a shock. And then July 5th is 117 in simple gematria. Again, July 4th is right here, July 4th right there, or 5-4 in a sense. But then the real one, the one we know is 7 I'm sorry, yeah, July 5th, right here. So it's crazy. Okay, this is all here. 117 is also the pet goat. That's what George Bush was in the classroom when 11/9 or the 9th of November happened. 9th of November. the 11th day of the September. I don't want to say the whole thing because I don't want to be even more shadow banned than I already am. The pet goat, which is based, so then the iPad goat is based on that too, because it's the second 9/11. And then we have Pentecost. Wow, Pentecost is 117 Civil Gematria as well. That's not a coincidence. And in one of my videos, which hardly anybody's watched, it's got like over 3,000 views. I thought more people would watch it, but I show how, based on the Torah calendar, that the 11/7 or 7/11 is Pentecost, and it's based on 7 Sabbaths from first fruits, and then another 50 days. The way it's really supposed to be done, and the reason why it's Torah calendar is because all the blood moons and everything, the celestial signs that God did in heaven, only line up 100% to the Torah calendar, not the fake Jewish calendar and everything else. Actually, all the calendars are wrong except for the God's creation calendar, which is the sun, moon, stars, and the Bible. Anyway, not going to do all that right now. So, and then 118 is 117. And I already shared how 811, August 11th, is 7 months and 11 days into the year. You figure that one out. But it's true. August 11th, 811 is 7 months and 11 days into the year. So that's how 811 is 711 also. Also, 118 is 117. And then, finally, remember I was saying about next to that annual eclipse is the dog star? And look at 117 is the dog star. Sirius. Are you serious? Are you serious? Oh, I'm not saying he's a shill or anything like that. No, I'm not saying anything about bagels. Anyway, here we go. So if you have the dog star, and then you have the Knights of the Golden Circle and the dog star, you have Hierophant, or you have the annual eclipse right there. And that's what I'm saying is the annual eclipse and the dog star right there. And that's what I'm showing. It's just crazy. Okay, also, just a few days after that was knocked down, I think actually almost a week, a few days, 5 days, something like that, Trump asked for a toppled D.C. Confederate statue to be put back up. In fact, he referred to it specifically to this one. He said other statues in general, but he said this one specifically because he's one of them. He's one of them. Why do you care? Why? I mean, seriously, if there's one that you shouldn't put back up, it's this guy. But, Trump's one of them. I'm telling you, he is, and the evidence shows it, and I'm going to show a little bit of that. Here's Trump Jr. with this gun called the Crusader. You just want to promote the Crusader gun. And this is one of 100 things I've shown that link the Trumpleberry buckets to the Crusades and to being Knights Templar and everything like that. And look his finger pointing to that. See what his finger's pointing to right there? He's pointing to that. See, that's a Crusader helmet. That's a Templar cross there. Remember that guy right there in that old picture? There's a Templar right there. That's the cross, okay? These people are sold out to this idea. And Trump is a crusader to end Christianity on this earth. He's not going to end it. He's going to end the world's version of it, not the real version, which is, by relationship with Christ. But he's going to end it to a degree on this earth. And that's what he's been assigned to do. Okay, he is the tip of the spear, and I've showed that when he sits down, he does the tip of the spear with his hands. That's also an Illuminati thing too, but to him, it's the tip of the spear. The Trump Tower comes down to a tip of a spear. I've showed many things. He believes that he's the spear of destiny. He's the tip of the spear, and he's going to end the U.S. and Christianity, and by being a Trojan horse for it, or looking like he's for it, but he's not. Because he is the snake that he talks about in his rallies. The snake that everybody let him in. Okay, and Trump, look, Donald Trump Jr. just happens to be 58. Remember I said 5'8" was Trump's demise. 5'8". Okay, also 8'5". Okay, 1 plus 8 is 9, so that's 9'5". 9 plus 5 is 14, which is 7'7". 7 plus 7, or it's 1 times 85, and he's Mr. 85, or 58 backwards. Again, I've shared in previous videos. You can check those out. And he's the subject of Back to the Future. Biff, he is the one who has the casino, and he's basically Trumple. He's basically Trumple. And then here we have 7'7" again. We have 5'4". Again, July 4th, and then we have 171. Albert Pike is 171. That's not a coincidence, and he was just happened to be a Freemason and all that stuff, and be connected to these guys, and he's 171, and he's 171. I mean, give me a break. Okay, seriously, it's right there. There's so many things I can show. Now I'm gonna get into some really crazy stuff here. The Purge, election year. Now these were very disgusting, sick. I mean, I am not into horror movies. I mean, I can watch them. They don't affect me one bit. It's kind of a waste of time for me. I mean, I'm not afraid of them or they don't bother me at all. But it's kind of they're just sick. I don't like watching. Like watching some people cut heads off. I mean, and all this stuff. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you like that. But I mean, that's not a good idea in many ways. But the Purge election year. Now, there's so much in this thing right here. But I'm going to show you a lot of things about this whole thing and about this is the Purge that's coming, and they're forecasting it in these movies. Ahead, and I'm going to show you. Look at the two X's, and I showed you that in that dead figure, and I think, oh, it's the same. This is the same thing almost exactly. X and X is 10 and 10 is 20. It's showing you the year. And look, election year. What election year? Oh, 20. There's not many election years to choose from. This came out in, I think that came out in 2016. That was an election year. But look, election year, boom, 20. Which one? 20, right here, 20. Okay, and then again, X is 10 and 10 also, and that take with the zeros, and you have 11. And then X is also, like I said, is the 24th letter of the alphabet. 2 plus 4 is 6. So you have 2 6s, which is 12, 11, and 12. And then this was released on July 1st. Remember I said that was the first day of the birth. And then look, in 216, take away the 0, 216, 216th day of the year is Stinky B.O.'s birthday. And that's his birth as well. First day of birth, and 216 is the 216th day of the year, which is August 4th, Stinky B.O.'s birthday, supposedly, right? All fake. Okay, let's keep going. This crazy sick thing right here. Kiss me. Yeah, you want to kiss that. No. Remember that 234? There it is again. 234 added to backwards 432 is 666, right? Remember I showed that? 666? Oops. Can't write a 6 there. 666. Anyway. Yeah, and then remember 23 is 54. And then remember it's also 11-7. And that's right here. This it's wow, so much in here. And it's 5-4. 2 plus 3 is 5 and 4, and I showed that already. And the other thing, again, more corroborating evidence of the same thing, same code, same things. That's all in here. This is sick. And remember, just like that. So I had this. I had the 4 and 5, and I had the 11 and 12, and that's right here. 4 and 5, 5, 4, and 11, 12 of 20. And that's the same thing. It was right there. It's all right there. And that dead face. Look at that right there. That's, by the way, 11 and 12 of 11 and 12 of the 7th month. This is when Statue of Liberty is going to be taken out. That's why it's showing the death of the Statue of Liberty. Because that's when the tsunamis will happen, on the 11th and 12th, as I've said. And it's on the 12th on the East Coast, and that's when the Statue of Liberty will be destroyed. And that's why it shows the death of Statue of Liberty. That's not a coincidence. This is all planned. 4th of July, Uncle Sam, well, all this stuff. It's just crazy, okay? This even looks like a Mickey Mouse over here. Whatever. Okay, now, and I just Googled the Purge Day, and it literally it states it like it's truth or like it's real. It doesn't even say in any hint that it's not even real. The new founding fathers of America is what it's called. NFA. By the way, that's 5661, which is 512 and 513. And those are attack date of 512 and 513. That's all right there. But anyway, the NFFA implemented the Purge as a means of basically concentrating crime and mayhem into one single night. That's the premise of these movies. Even called a holiday, like 4th of July. Like a holiday in which crime is legal and all emergency services are suspended for 12 hours. They're being suspended right now annually at 7 p.m. on March 21st. And that means, so it's 12 hours, it's 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., and that's 7-7. Remember, that's 7-7, which is the code for 7-Eleven. Also, that's March 21st, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. of March 22nd, which is 3-2-2, Skull and Bones. Death. Think this isn't planned? Are you kidding me? Here we go. Check this out. Radio Times. Donald Trump's new slogan is literally from a horror movie. Oh, more Donald Trump connections? No way. Trumpleberry? No way. Wow. Okay, it looks like the Donald may be taking some unintentional advice from the Purge election year. Check this out. Now, obviously, this is a development of his current strapline, Make America Great Again, but as some have pointed out, it's also the election slogan used in 2016, again, 216 is what it is, slasher The Purge election year, which builds on the original premise of the Purge films, where all crime is legal for 12 hours a year, to tell the story of a politician trying to end the purge. By the way, 12 hours is also important because Obama is 7-7. He's also 1-2. 1 plus 2 is 3. They want to go from 9 to 3. Bottom of the pyramid, top of the pyramid, 9 to 3. That's also 12 hours is important too. So that's all here. And then guess what? More connections. More connections. President Trump's son-in-law and senior advisor will name Blumhouse Productions Josh Raffel to run communications. Who's Blumhouse Productions? Well, right there. Production house for The Purge. More connections to Trumple thin skin. Wow. I mean, hopefully you see this, and there's far more than this, but I can only dive in so far and make a video that's like an hour and a half and not 5 hours. This is crazy here. So this is the most recent one in 2018, the first purge. In fact, it's just hinting to when the first purge is going to be, which is 4th of July. And I'm going to show you some of the hints right here. Can you see any hints? Pause this if you want to look and see if you see the hints. I'll show you a couple hints. One is, hold on. Okay, I had a little technical difficulties there. This program is very annoying. I can get into it. Okay, so what's the first clue here? Here it is, right here. That, even though that's a street light, that is made to be the full moon. I'm telling you, that's what that is. That's a full moon, and just so happens that, again, 4th and 5th of July is a full moon. Then let's look at this. You see another one here? I'll show you another one. Right there. See that fire that's coming off that Molotov cocktail there? Does that look normal? Natural? Did you see any lines that don't look right? Yeah, there's some lines in there that don't look right. In fact, I saw this right away. It was a backwards 4. See that? This is a backwards 4 right here. Right, there's a backwards 4. Now this is forwards now because I just turned it forwards and made it bigger. And it literally says the 4th. And there's a TH right here. It says the 4th. Yeah, that's all. You know, it's just predictably programming. No big deal. And then right here, the first purge is 172, and again, they've done this many times. It's 7-1 to 7-2, and 2 is 1-1. So that's 7-1 backwards, and then 7 to 7-11. We have 7-1 again. We have 7-5, which is 5-7 backwards, and 5-7. Again, 5-7 is Stinky B.O.'s day, which is the 5th month, the 7th day, and then we have 5-8, which is all there. Again, many times they'll show the codes for several of these attack days in this whole 13-day period. And then 132, take the 0 out, 132 is the 132nd day of the year, only on a leap year, which is May 11, 5/11. And then this one times 74 is July 4th. I mean, this is all here. It's crazy. Okay, and then, so this is about that movie, to push the crime rate below 1%. Again, kind of reiterated some of this, but to push the crime rate below 1% over the rest of the year, the new founding fathers of America test a sociological theory that vents aggression for one night in one isolated community. Yeah, that would work. But then the violence of oppressors meets the rage of the others, and the contagion will explode from the trial city borders and spread across the nation. Contagion? They're using the word contagion? That's not particularly programmed. I don't know what is. The contagion? That's what they're going to basically say, that these things have been going on and now it made it worse. And then the contagion, so-called, the CV, that's all. This is all particularly programmed. And guess what day this was released? I wonder, could it be 4th of July? Yes. I mean, are you kidding me? I pretty much guessed it. Before I even went to it, because I'm just so used to this stuff. I guessed it. And then check this out. This is the director, Gerard McMurray. And then you see the box office numbers. I mean, seriously, 4th of July. Are you kidding me? And then the 13-day birth. I mean, it's right there. And then what about his name? What's his name? His name couldn't add up at all to these things, could it? No, there's no way it could. No, it couldn't. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7, 4. Again, remember, 4, 7. 7, 4. July 4th, July 4th, July 4th. What's this? This is 1. 8 plus 7 is 15, which is 115. And then look, 1 times 54 is 54, which is, again, that's the 5th month to the leech, which is July 4. This is crazy. And then 9 plus 8 is 17 and 4. Again, that's 1 times 7, 4 is 74, July 4th. That's all massive coincidence. These are massive coincidences. And this, I mean, are you kidding me? And this thing is released on July 4th. This is all planned. Even this guy's name is planned to match all this. And again, it's messing with everybody to get this to happen. And we're just taking everybody, the masses, down this road to destruction. And everyone's like, yeah, woohoo, let's watch the movie. Yeah, let's watch the Purge. Yeah. And we're going to die soon, someday. I mean, seriously, it's disgustingly sick. And you guys, any of you think this is funny or at all? I mean, not me being silly about it, just because I try to make it a little bit silly, because it's just, I want to cry, man. I want to cry because I don't want people being killed and slaughtered. And there's so much of that coming. And it's not fear-mongering. It's just facts. And I'm warning people. It's called being a watchman on the wall. It's called just doing what the Lord's showing me to do, to warn people. So do what you can to get into a good place, some place where you can be close to the Lord, know Him, Jesus Himself. He's your only chance. And then physically, don't be wherever these men, don't be, I mean, it's going to be hard knowing where they're going to be, because they're talking about being, let me get into the next thing here. This is going to be crazy. Okay, so fireworks complaints skyrocket in New York City. This is crazy, okay? This showed me that there's even more substantiation to what I've been seeing. Okay, each year since 2015. I'm going to show you this. Now, before I get into that real quick, this is where this came from, the Gothamist. This is where this thing came from. The Gothamist. The Gothamist, it's great. Gotham means Gotham, which is goat and home. The goat home. So New York is also kind of roughly played as Gotham, and that's been shown many times. So New York is Gotham, really. And it's the goat home. And, you know, I pet goat. So they want to destroy the goats. It's a sacrifice of goats and sheep as well, but this is crazy. And I showed this in a previous video. This is my thumbnail to my previous video that went back a little bit ways here. But originally there was Gotham Shield that, you know, you could Google it and see. They were just, you know, they like to predictably program people on this stuff, but they said it was an exercise of a possible nuclear attack so they can be ready and everything like that, right? Well, then a few months ago, this guy named Lincoln Kiram, and go back and look at this exact video with this icon, you can see this, but and I showed you this video, and he literally got this guy, on this video, he's wearing this Operation Gotham 2020, Brett Asher with New York City Emergency Management, you know, emergency management guy, looking all smug right there and everything with a state trooper or whatever, and Operation Gotham is nowhere to be found. If you just Google it, and you'll find just other people like me in my videos, and other people like me, and some people even got some stuff from my videos, because I just ran with what Lincoln Kiram had right away, and he broke it, really, because he took these pictures and did this video. It's a crazy video, and he's just questioning these people about the CV, why don't they have masks, why don't they have gloves, why don't they have anything, and all that stuff. And they know something's going on. They're planning something called Operation Gotham 2020 that was remotely related to this, but this you can actually Google, and this doesn't even exist. So it's questionable at best. Okay, so he did another video later where he had some other ones where he got some other service people or army people, but he didn't get a close up good enough. So this is where he got this guy. Now this guy is walking down towards where he's videoing. So this guy named Lincoln, he's videotaping these people, right, in military, and they're walking all around. Some have masks, some don't, some have other things, whatever, right? Here he is walking towards it. This is kind of a distance away. He's got a really good camera, and he's coming up, and this guy notices that he's looking at him, and he pulls this badge up over his head, okay? And see this guy right here? He's a major in the Army. He's a major. So he's not just some kind of, I mean, He knows what's going on. He knows that he doesn't want this shown. He pulls up over his head as he's getting closer to Kiram, assuming that he didn't know that he couldn't see it from way back there. And he could get it. I mean, I just basically zoomed in on it and caught it. I think he got it kind of close up, but he just zoomed in on it, captured it, and then I zoomed up on it even more and got it. But this guy is Major Nicholas Corbett. You called out, Major Nicholas Corbett, for whatever kind of shenanigans you're doing over there. And then, I forgot to show his face, but he basically comes right up to him with this mask on, and he's looking at him all like the evil eye, this Nicholas guy at Lincoln, when he's taking a video of him, and he pulled this thing off. So he couldn't see it with his video, but he didn't realize far back, he had such a good one, he could see the details of this far back there. So that's suspicious massively. And then I look at this thing. So let me just break this down for you. And I have before. New York in English gematria is 666. That's why they're going to destroy it, because it's a symbol of Gotham, which is the goat home, home of the goats. They're going to destroy the goats, and that's called iPad goat. They're going to destroy that. And reverse English gematria is Hawaii, 666. And I've shared how they're going to destroy Hawaii, and many reasons why that apple is Hawaii on iPad goat. In fact, the apple splits, okay, and the Hawaii is on there, and this is a big apple representing New York as well, many reasons. But look, there's a split apple. See that? They're talking about the goats. There's a goat in Hawaii, and there's goats in Hawaii and goats in New York. Why? How is that? Well, look at Hawaii. Look, this is a scene in iPad Goat where Osama bin Laden character is on this iceberg, and this is a spear tip right here, a spear tip, and it's because Trump is the tip of the spear, and he's spearing Hawaii because that's where it's going to get hit by a tsunami. That is Hawaii. That is a kind of more rounded version of the Big Island, kind of tilted more to the left, kind of spun around a little bit more. But that's the neck of this is a goat. This is the horn of the goat. This is a goat. The Big Island of Hawaii is a goat head. Here it is right here. So there's a Big Island of Hawaii kind of underneath here in the green, and then there's a goat head kind of put on top of it. You can see how it's the shape of a goat head. Exactly. It's almost exactly. It's really crazy. Even this little part here in Hawaii, which is down here like this, that's a little like the dead sheep tongue or the goat. It's really crazy. And then I've added this other thing where this is this little graphic here is a little map of lava coming out of where Kilauea starts right up here, and then going down to this East Rift zone where these fissures were and the lava that was coming out 2 years ago, when you saw all that crazy lava come through Hawaii and everything, like a big river of lava and all that stuff. And that is see, that's the neck of the goat. See that? I put that right where that is. That's the neck of the goat, and that's the bloodletting of the goat's neck. And then these are goats in Hawaii, in New York. It's goat home in New York. Gotham is goat home. And then this is the goat home, the home of the goat in Hawaii. It's all sacrificial. It's all about rituals. And then see how they show this as red, like lava's red right here, red, and that's they're cutting the goat's throat, and then eventually this whole they're going to foment an attack on this with a Poseidon torpedo, and hit this whole East Rift zone, basically south of this whole line right here, is going to fall into the ocean, cause a massive tsunami on that side as they do one over on the East Coast at the same time. That's all predictably programmed in many, many things I've shown. Not just a few things, whatever, it's many, many things. I've shown that. So this is how this links. So now let me get back to this. I kind of got on this tangent, but I wanted to show you that and how that's crazy, how this Gotham Mist magazine is about New York and about they're the goats. And the Bible talks about the goats being unbelievers and the sheep being the believers. Sheep follow him; they know his voice. The goats are like hard-hearted. And the goats also represented by Baphomet, the goat head, and all that kind of stuff. And CKBO is the goat. He's a god of all things, as shown in the magazine. I forget the magazine, Newsweek. He's also the greatest of all time, GOAT. God of all things is GOAT. And then he's Ipets, the goddess of fertility, the Egyptian goddess of fertility and pregnancy and everything. He's Ipet's goat. Anyway, I'll show that in videos too. But check this out. So this is crazy. Firework complaints, Skyrock, New York City. So here we go. I just cut this off just to show you this graph here. This is really long. I had to do it, landscape this way. But look at this, 2015, just under this, I'm going to use this. 2015 right here, 15 calls. Wait, let me do this first. This is based on data collected between June 1st and June 19th each year. So, a few weeks before 4th of July, fireworks are going off in the city. Some kids or whatever let off fireworks, and people calling to complain, right? Calling in the information to New York City. And by the way, it's NYC 311. That's an information line. It just happens to be NYC 311, which is the attack code for New York. It just happens to be 311. No big deal. Let's get the 911 for 311 and the 611, the 711. I mean, there's all these different codes in different places for this. So in 2015, there was 15 calls complaining about fireworks early, right? And I think they're even illegal in New York. So that's even more point. And then there was 16 calls, 20 calls in 2017, 27, and then 27, 2019. Now see this little thing right here? How many do you think there were this year between June 1st and June 19th? Any guesses? You won't even guess. 6,386. If that doesn't show you something's going on, I don't know what. And then I saw this story, and this intel I got from somebody, and then it all came together. But I know I'm like, this proves what I've been saying, what I've been seeing. There's gonna be something there's gonna be some kind of death thing. The fireworks are going off ahead of time, so they get used to it. And I remember thinking years ago, man, if you ever wanted to, shoot up some stuff or, do something where you'd have to shoot a lot of weapons and stuff, you do it during the 4th of July because no one would really know. And a lot of things sound like explosions and sound like gunshots, but you wouldn't know. Some people light off, M80s and half sticks of dynamite and different things. You never know, quarter sticks of dynamite, things like that. You just never know what's going on out there during the 4th of July. You just can't tell what it is sometimes. I think I can recognize gunfire myself, but a lot of people couldn't. They wouldn't know what it was, maybe, or think it was, but then they couldn't verify it, whatever, and they just think someone's shooting off stuff. But this is uncanny. This proves right here. Now, with this, if it was just this, but I know something's going on, but then I got this information. The real eye-opener is from the Controlled Unclassified Law Enforcement Bulletin issued as law enforcement sensitive for official use only to police and fire departments. This is reported by someone who's in the know about Antifa already using fireworks to acclimate suburbia with sounds of explosions so they can use those to cover for gunfire when they attack white suburban neighborhoods the same day. And this is what I was seeing. That's what I was seeing. There's going to be attacks on those days. That's what's showing about the Purge. That's why I've even mentioning that. That's why I'm saying there's going to be a Purge on July 4th and 5th. I'm pretty confident of this. If it doesn't happen, then you've been warned, and then it doesn't happen. Thank God. But I'm pretty confident it's going to happen with this information. And then check this out. So according to the Controlled Unclassified Information, as a bulletin issued to police and fire departments, Antifa has been taking deliveries of very large shipments of professional-grade fireworks. They have been sending teams out to various areas throughout America to detonate those fireworks for the past 2 weeks, as I shown that graph in just New York City, to achieve 3 specific objectives. And when I started reading this, I already knew what they were. Because I knew what I would do. And I would test the response. I would see if there's going to be any kind of response and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it doesn't, if you have any kind of a brain and know what they're trying to do, see what they could get away with, what you could get away with if you're them, just put yourself in their shoes and you're thinking like that, you can figure it out. But then here it is. The first objective is to test the response of local law enforcement if fireworks are going off around the clock and residents are filing complaints. Will police respond? How long does it take them to respond? Are they all calling in sick? I'm adding. How many officers? Do they even respond at all? This data is being recorded by these groups and will prove very valuable intel for what is to come. So they do this for a few weeks, then they know what's going to go on, and then they know what they can do on that day or where they can do it and everything. This is a very accurate barometer to test the waters. Yes, it is. This should be hard evidence to you people. I'm telling you, I'm doing this for you. I got this out as quick as I could, and I want to show you as much evidence as I could with different things. This is hard hitting here, and I'm very concerned about this time frame that's coming up. In so many ways, I'm showing July is going to be a freight train on fire. I mean, it's crazy. Okay. The second objective is to let local residents, white people in nearby neighborhoods, acclimate to the frequent sounds of explosions that often sound like gunfire. The final objective is knowing response times and manpower police and having acclimated the local population to explosion sounds that mimic gunfire to then commit arson attacks with professional fireworks to set so many fires. Fireworks to set so many fires, local emergency services are immediately overwhelmed and enter houses to actually fire guns and kill as many as possible in white suburbs. And that's what I'm afraid of. That's what I was seeing with this predictive programming and the different things. I'm seeing death. I showed you that. I've been showing this. This was weeks ago. I showed this before anybody I've ever seen. And because I'm deciphering iPad Go 2. And I've shown over 50 false flag events that have happened in iPad Go 2 for the last several years. Last 5 years, roughly. 4 years, whatever. 4 or 5 years. 4 years. It's crazy. Okay? And then they even predicted program earthquakes. I know some people go, no, there's no way. Yes, they have the machinery, they have the technology to do this, and I've proven it many, many times. So we had a 7-7, and that's the day 7-7, which is 7-11. Again, 7 times 11 is 7-11 or 7-11. And then they downgraded, the USG has downgraded to 7.4, which I'm going to show you, and that's 4th of July, 7.4. And then it shows here that, again, this is all predicted program. Mexico Seismological Institute made it 7.1. So we have 7.1 through 7.11, 7.4. These are all the dates here. This is crazy. Okay, and then there it is. They downgraded. They went from 7.7 and they downgraded to 7.4 because they're showing you both days, 7.7 and 7.4. And then 5 dead. And I'm thinking they're actually showing you that it's the 5th month, I believe. Okay, there's so much. There's 5.7 right here. That's Stinky BO, Mr. 57 is shown right there. And now, this is crazy about June 23rd. So this happened on June 23rd. Why? Okay, I've shown many of my videos that they love the 23rd of many of all these months because 2-3 is huge for them. 2 times 3 is 6, and then 2 divided by 3 is 0.666 or 66666, however many sixes you want. Okay, they love 23 because it's Stinky BO's number in many ways I've shared many, many times. Okay, but from the 23rd, you add 7 days, which is the magnitude here. Okay, you get to June 30th. And then whatever point, however many after the point you add is the exact day we're talking about. So we add, from 23rd, we have 7 days and then 4 days. That is July 4th. If we add, let's go back here. If from July 23rd, we add 7 days and then 1 day, we get 7-1. From June 23rd, we add 7 days and then 7 days, we get 7-7. 7-7, 7-7. I mean, are you kidding me? Do you see that? Hopefully you see that and you don't go, oh, that's just a massive coincidence. Now watch this. And then, this was a couple days ago, then the same place, Osaka, Mexico, had a 5.4. Again, 7.4 is 5.4. This is the Elite's 5.4, which is July 4th, because July is the 5th month to them. And this is the masses, July 4th. 7. It's not a coincidence that this is happening. Now, let me look at you. So I show you many things like this. And then let me add even more that prove it's not a coincidence. Look at this. Huatulco right there, and then Oaxaca, or however Oaxaca, I don't know how to say that. I looked at the pronunciation right now, but I can't remember. Oaxaca, okay. Look at these. This is crazy. Oaxaca is 45, 5.4. There it is, 5.4. That was that was the earthquake that happened a few days after the first one. Look, 11.7. Again, it was 7.7 originally knocked down, which is 11 times 7. 3.11. Oops, I gotta put this down here. Oops, whoa, hold on. 3.11. 3.11. Okay, 5 by 6 is 11. And then 33 is 3 times 11. There's 3.11 again. Oop, I can't write. I'm kind of putting my hand kind of floating over my phone while I'm holding it here. So, and then again, we have 2 is really 117. And then 7.11. 2 is 1.1. So here it was all right here. In that name, that's impossible. Then we have the Huatulco, however you say that. The real name is San Maria Huatulco. So that is 1. 9 plus 8 is 117. 7.2 is 7.11, I'm saying, of course. Then 8 plus 8 is 16, so you have 2.16. And that's Stinky Bill's birthday, because this is his birth, this is his birth, these are all his birth. And then here we go, just plain 117. And then 8 plus 8 again is 16. 1 plus 6 is 7, so we have 117. And then 2 plus 8, right? 2 plus 8 here is 1, so we have 171. I mean, and that was, remember, that was Albert Pike, and that was Donald Trump Jr. I mean, are you kidding me? Which is really mixed up 117. Everything here, except for this, which is because it's all about his birth, is 117. And the 216 is his birth. In fact, check this out. 216 is 2, 1 plus 6 is 7, and like I said, 2 is really 117. So his birth is really 117. His supposed birth, August 4th, is the 216th day of the year. And so that is 27 if you combine those together like that, and that's 117. This is not a coincidence, people. I'm trying to show you that this is real, this is true, stuff's going to happen, stuff's on the way. And they're making more and more steps. This is the logical next steps in the next few days going into July 4th that they would be doing this. They're going to just, and then Trump is doing nothing. He's making excuses. Of course he would. Of course he's going to. And I'm telling you, it's going to continue that way. He may do some things here and there, but he's not going to stop this from happening because he's part of it. And then they also said in the news that Mexico City, when this earthquake happened, the 7.7, we just down to 7.4, which in Mexico City was a 7.1, which is all those days in 7.1 to 7.11, basically, in the days I'm talking about. And they said Mexico City felt it for a minute, a full minute. Mexico City is 5.4. There's the day, 5.4. 1 plus 4 is 5. 4. 4.5 is 5.4 backwards. Again, also Super Bowl 54 was this year. 117. 7. 5 plus 6 is 11. I mean, are you kidding me? I could go forever on this. Hopefully you get this. Last thing I'm going to show here, just to show you more connections and this craziness of this. We literally had a 5.8 the other day in California in Lone Pine. When I saw this, because I know what that means, Lone Pine, I could not believe it. Maybe you'll know. Do you know what Lone Pine is? If you know some of the stuff, if you know Back to the Future, you might know. Maybe you don't know the details of the hidden stuff in Back to the Future. But if you do, Lone Pine is when Marty McFly first went to Twin Pines Mall at 1:16 a.m., which upside down and backwards is 9/11, because it predicted it before it happened, years before it happened. 9/11 right there, upside down and backwards. 116 is 9/11, upside down and backwards. Twin Pines Mall, so 2 towers. Okay, then they came down, and then the next time he was there, when he went Back to the Future, it was 1 World Freedom Tower and Lone Pine Mall. And guess what? It's really pointing to what? 1, 3 plus 4 is 7. Backwards, it's 7/1, July 1st. I'm telling you. That's the real 9/11, by the way, too. That 11/9, I'll say. I already ruined it by saying it, but whatever. The 11/9 that happened years ago was really pointing to the real several 11/9s. I'm saying it backwards. That are going to happen, that have already happened, that are in process of happening. The CV, the riots, everything's 11/9 backwards. 9/11. It's crazy. Okay, and then so right here, again, we have right there also Lone Pine, California is also, what a shock. Lone Pine, California is 1 plus 7 is 8, 88. Remember, Marty McFly went 88 miles an hour, and then 9 plus 7 is 16. 16 is 8 plus 8. And again, now it's 8, that's 88. 8 plus 8, 88. Oh, that's obvious. Again, 7, 9 is 16. 8 plus 8. And then 4 plus 4 is 8, and 8. Plus, not only this is also linked, because this is the reason why this is showing this, because this is attack day of 7/8 or 5/8 to the elites. 5 because Trump is Mr. 58, as I've shown many times. You know, Trump Tower has 58 floors. His inauguration was the 58th inauguration. He just goes and goes and goes. I'm not gonna list all this stuff. You can watch it on my video. I'll put it in the description box. But it's right at the hour mark. It's iPad Goat 2. Oh yeah, it's iPad Goat 2 Split Wide Open Part 2. And right at the 1 hour mark for the next 11 minutes, I show many 58s. And I do it in another video after that as well. How he's 58 many times because it's his day of his demise. and because he's the trumpet for the Antichrist. He's not the Antichrist, he's the trumpet for the Antichrist, because his name, Donald Trumpet, Trump means world ruler is Donald Trumpet. He's the world ruler trumpet. That's what his name means. He's not the world ruler, he's the world ruler trumpet. And he's Mr. 88. Trump in simple gematria is 88. Donald J. Trump is 888. Okay, I mean, it goes. He's another 88, and I can't remember right now on top of my head. But anyway, so yeah, so this is referring to him, Back to the Future, which is really about him too. Oh my goodness! So I'm done. It's a long video so far. We didn't want it to be this long, but I had to get into a lot of things. So thank you for just watching. Please share this video with as many as you can. If you care about people, and just let them know, warn them, whatever this is worth to you. I have a really bad feeling about what's coming, and this stuff at this time. And I think I might have proven it. Again, this is still my grand guess. If nothing happens, thank God. I don't want much people to be killed, but eventually stuff will happen. It just will. I know I've been shown. I've been given dreams and visions of stuff too. So the Lord is good. So please cling to Jesus, and wherever you're at, do your best to try to protect yourself or get as safe as a place as you can, and even more importantly, get as close to Jesus as possible. So this is your warning. You've been served, as I like to say, and warned. So I just wish the best for you, and I pray for each one of you, Father. I just pray for each one of these people that are watching this video, that you bless them and their families, and you help them to share this video, warn as many people as possible, in Jesus' name. So thank you, Father, and thank you, all of you, for watching. This is Exalted Lamb 1, over and out.